Kiyotaki model is to try to understand the interaction between assets value and the credit amount and aggregate economic activities. When the asset serves as a factor of production as well as the collateral for loans, the small shock which increase asset value will increase the credit. And when credit go up and assets economic activity boost up and assets value will go up together. When the bad shock hits, the constraint agents, people who face the credit constraint, have to cut back the investment. But when they invest less, they don't make money in future neither. And then the constrained people's assets demand and economic activity is lower, not just today but future. But the asset market is forward-looking, and these people takes long time to recover. Then asset price drops a lot. And then when asset price drops, their net worth drops even further and feed back into the contraction. Initially, the mortgage loss is hitting the bankers who have a mortgage-related assets. And when they start losing the net worth, they have to start selling the assets. But when they start selling the assets, the asset price starts falling more, and the net worth is falling faster than asset price. As a result, they have to sell even faster. And in an extreme case, they are going to wiped out and become insolvent. And that leads to the big financial crisis. The monetary policy, when the crisis started, the sum of the assets is not easy to sell, like private securities. So then the monetary policy can do is something called unorthodox monetary policy, is they can lend against illiquid assets and stop the fire sale of these illiquid assets and stop price to fall further. And so this framework can be used to rationalize the unorthodox monetary policy. Answer is yes. If quantitative easing is purchasing the private securities, like mortgage-backed securities, then they stop the price of the mortgage-backed security from falling further, and that will mitigate the crisis. I think so. Basically, when the crisis spread between the illiquid assets, like private papers and public papers, like a government bond, is due to the liquidity premium, then the government is going to make money by buying the private paper. And if it's a gap is due to the risk premium, then government is gambling. But actually, it's probably both. And by having the liquidity premium, government managed to actually make money by buying this private paper or lending against the private paper. The most important one is that during the boom, they have to tighten the capital requirement, basically raise the capital requirement to not to go too big asset price boom and big leverage for the bankers. And on the other hand, when crisis comes, you can relax the capital requirement And so by moving the capital requirement procyclically, you can reduce the swings of the asset value and net worth of the bankers. Medium-term impact of the unorthodox monetary policy is try to stop the recessions. And for this, we are going to use the unconventional monetary policy for a long time, as long as the interest rate is very, very low and the room for traditional monetary policy is limited.